Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar. I am your host, Nick Athan. The show is presented by Chiefs Blitz. To the left of me or the right of me, depending which way you're looking, Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You can check out him and Andre every Saturday at 1 o'clock at Bowtie Sports on their YouTube channel. It's very entertaining. And before we get started on the special edition of Four Guys in a Bar, I want to talk about our first sponsor, and that would be Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is your trusted real estate advisor. He is my trusted real estate advisor. If you're looking for someone who's going to walk you through the process, finding a house, finding the right one that fits the needs of your family, someone who can get you through all the contracts, the paperwork, the back and forth with the opposing realtor, you need somebody you can trust, and that man is Mr. Eric Haynes. Give him a call at 816-729-3785. It's a perfect time to buy a house. House prices are solid. Interest rates are steady. It's a great time, and you need someone you can trust if you're buying or selling a house inside or outside the Kansas City area. Please give Eric a call at 816-729-3785.
And proud sponsor, Chief Who?
That is correct. Proud sponsor of Chiefs Who. And we are joined by the other two members of the Four Guys in a Bar Chiefs Blitz podcast. First and foremost, Mr. Lou Montagna. Welcome, Lou, and Sir Andre Tillman as well. Impromptu show today, guys. We're going to be at the press conference tomorrow with the Chiefs announce their new stadium plans, maybe what they're going to do for the World Cup, maybe new practice facilities. At this point, we have no idea. I have tried to knock on every door I can to get anything in advance. It's not coming out. So I hope it's something amazing and something really, really special. But we'll find out tomorrow. We'll have the information shortly after the press conference. We'll have some stuff up on ChiefsBlitz.com. So we wanted to do our show tonight since we won't be able to do it on Wednesday. We'll be back on Friday. But some interesting news today for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's been a lot of L'Jarius Sneed talk, and it looks like, according to Pete Sweeney, that the franchise tag for cornerback L'Jarius Sneed will be 19.8 for 2024. The Chiefs have let some people go before at that position. They've drafted cornerback very, very well, and it's quite possible a tag and trade if the Chiefs can get a premium draft selection. It's not going to be one; it's going to have to be two, probably three picks in my mind to get this thing done. But it sounds like Chris Jones, Veach, and the Katz brothers, who are still around, don't know how, God love them. They will be talking to Brent Veach tomorrow in Indianapolis. He said that on Harrington's show today. So hopefully those guys are going to get it done. The fact that they're rumored to put Sneed on the franchise tag tells me that's probably what they're going to do. And Brent Veach made it clear today that they intend to use it, and he's hopeful of finding both. We don't know what's going to happen, but I thought it was interesting news. So we're going to talk about it tonight.
Let's go. Four Guys in a Bar at night. Come on, Todd. What you got? What you got, Todd? Let's go.
Come on, bring it, Todd. Bring it,
I feel like this is leaking back into my story when I said, hey, trade somebody or trade a pit to go get Cal's pit. You know what I mean? So, hey, if L'Jarius Sneed is coming too pricey, you already have, Trent McDuffie, Joshua Williams, and Watson. Then you got a lot of corners that's coming out this draft. The guy from Missouri, guy from Clemson, guy from Florida State. These guys is a big cornerback field draft in this. But now, could this look back like, okay, Brent Veach draft corners and don't sign them? You know what I mean? Because they're this everybody stays. But I feel like Brent Veach is the not one of the best, but the best GM, and he always will figure it out. And everybody like to throw shade at him, but not this way. I feel like this guy has shown himself, have always put out, that, he went up to go get Mahomes, pound the table for Mahomes, brought in Rice, brought in, Isaiah Pacheco. When he said, hey, we can find late running backs in the late rounds, he go gets Isaiah Pacheco. And now look how he turns out to be. These guys know what they're doing, and Veach, I trust. I feel like he can get this done. If he gets it done, if he don't, the guys at the end of the day know what they need to go get that 4th championship to make history ever been made in NFL. What you got to say, Lou?
Well, these guys know how to manage the cap. I mean, the Chiefs manage it about as well as anybody. And when I say manage, they don't push a lot of money forward. There's not a bunch of dead money on the cap year after year after year. It doesn't take much of a genius to keep pushing money into the future and say we're managing the cap. That's just kicking the can down the road. So he's going to be very judicious about this. I think it's very interesting that this comes out now. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it just seems, I'm not sure, who leaks this, right? I mean, for this to get out, somebody wanted it to get out. Somebody is negotiating here. Is it Sneed's camp? Is it the Chiefs? Would the Chiefs want this to get out and let everybody know he's up for bid?
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. This is a Chiefs thing.
Right. So if we agree that that's the case, then he's not playing on the tag. Okay. It's just a negotiating ploy and to buy some time. Right. So, and everything that Hense said is correct. This team has done an amazing job, not only drafting defensive backs, but developing defensive backs. And there's guys that they took that they expect to be ready to play, whether it's Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, Shamari Connor, Najee Johnson, whether they go into the draft, there's plenty of guys out there. And maybe they get a 2 and a 3 for L'Jarius, because the team that takes him on obviously is going to be taking on a big contract. He's looking for, the bag. I mean, the bag, a very big, hefty bag. Right?
Triple digits is what he's looking for.
Right. So here we go. So again, you want to keep everybody. I'm not saying they're trading him for sure, but if they do, it's with the team's best interest moving forward at heart. It's nothing personal.
No.
And, I love L'Jarius Sneed. He's like the Swiss Army knife. He could play in any system. He could play any position in the defensive backfield. So God bless him. He gets what he wants. Hopefully the Chiefs get what they want.
And you got to think about it. They only got 6 picks this year. So
at the moment.
Well, listen, guys, listen. Everybody was correct. Listen, I'm saying like this. The coaching staff is right there. It doesn't even matter if Sneed do go, because you got a good coaching staff that know how to develop cornerbacks. They secondary is legit. Even with Sneed, even though he do get traded, they known for developing good people in the secondary, right?
Yeah.
Joshua Williams coming along strong. Honestly, he really didn't get beat all year. There was some catches made on him, but it was tight coverage, right? Watson plays good, right? Watson playing phenomenal. Sneed, to me, is probably one of the best all-around corners in the league, right? All around. But the thing with Sneed is this, guys. It's the knee. That's why they're not really worried about it, because how much longer can he sustain play? How much longer can he play at a high level with that knee?
Yeah,
right.
That's the question.
At a high level of the knee this year,
right? But right now, McDuffie to me is him. McDuffie is the guy right now. So looking at McDuffie's play for the last 2 years, they really ain't worrying about Sneed for real. I mean, Sneed's a good piece, but they're not really worrying about that, because McDuffie can cover and he can blitz off the edge in the nickel too. So they're not too much worried about Sneed, because you can easily replace that in the draft.
And I think that's important to note. I mean, McDuffie was drafted as Sneed's replacement.
Right.
And that's how Brent Veach works. And what I thought was interesting this year is that Sneed didn't do a lot of blitzing. It was McDuffie.
Right.
Last year or the year before, he was blitzing all the time. And McDuffie has kind of taken over that role of being that guy who can go outside, inside. He blitzes a lot. And I think that's by design. And again, we talk about the knee issue. No training camp. No preseason games. He practiced and he got ready for the regular season, but that knee was a problem for a long time, for many months after last year's Super Bowl. And so I think that is an issue of concern. Will it hold up for 5 years, $105 million? I don't know. And listen, the guy made less than $1 million last year. He deserves a massive pay upgrade. If he takes the tag at $19 million, that's about $16 million more than he's made so far in the NFL. That will cure a lot of ills. He's got, a young family, and, this is his chance to get a big contract. I think he's going to be 27 this year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of old to some degree, because he was kind of he was a 23-year-old when the Chiefs drafted him, and they've been drafting a lot of 20, 21-year-old guys. So I think Brent Veach knows what he's doing. I think it's going to be like this. Atlanta Falcons, Philadelphia Eagles, Chiefs, are probably the teams that are interested. Now, if they want to give up your boy Kyle Pitts,
Cardinals 27 pick.
If they're going to give up Kyle Pitts for Sneed in a number 2, I think the Chiefs make that trade.
I'll jump on that in a heartbeat. I'll be the first person to jump off the trade.
I think TMZ Todd is the one that's floating Pitts out there.
Yeah, I think
kind of a premium guy, top 10 pick. Do you really want to trade him? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because honestly, the way Andy Reid developed the offense under the West Coast style of Andy Reid's, Kyle Pitts would be a big figure in that offense.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, no
he's
question.
6 foot. He's 6'8". I mean, the guy is a
I don't
monster.
think he's 6'8", but he's tall.
You say it was 6'8", man.
Yeah, he's
6'8". He's 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", 6'6".
He's Harold Carmichael's? No, he's not. He's not. All right, let's find out.
Well, regardless of how tall he is, he's a high quality athlete that he's going into his third year, new coaching staff. I'd be shocked if they moved on from him this soon.
I wouldn't.
The thing is, he's a mismatch nightmare. He's a nightmare.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, he would be he'd be perfect in Travis's role, or even expanded, moving him to the outside a little bit. Definitely. And it would be great, but I just can't see Atlanta saying, yeah, you know what? We'll go with this older corner. We're going to break the bank for this older corner, and we're going to give you a premium guy on a
they need impact players
on a controlled contract.
So Kareem says this. He said the Vikings have a need for a CB. Just saying, AT and Red. Hey,
there it is.
I think Kareem deemed himself the fifth guy in the bar. Yeah. So I don't Kareem's been drinking all day.
Hey, it's another guy. It's another guy I've been banging the table for.
I have to.
You go get Justin Jefferson. You send Sneed over there. Hey, Justin Jefferson. Hey, he wants to be a champion. He's 24, but again, as you're gonna send a 27-year-old for a 24, hey, and
I would.
It isn't about the draft compensation. If he really wants $30 million a year, good luck finding a team that's going to pay him that.
That's true.
And give up a lot of draft compensation to do it. I actually like that trade. I actually like that DraftKings proposed trade because I think it makes a lot of sense for everybody involved. I'm not sure the Chiefs have to give up a 1. They might be able to give up a 2 this year and a 3 next year, and sign him and give him a solid receiver in Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who the Chiefs are on the fence on right now, whether to keep him or not keep him. So I think they're going to end up cutting him because I think it makes more sense.
But that's a tough one.
I love Justin Jefferson. I don't know what he said to Patrick Mahomes when they were on the field at the Vikings game, but there were some smiles going all the way around. As McCole Hardman said today, when he got out of New York, when the Chiefs played the Jets, he said he spoke to Patrick, Andy, and Brent Veach on the field and said, "Come get me, I want out of here." And a few weeks later, they made it happen. So, but Justin Jefferson's a whole new ball game. It's a whole new level of wide receiver.
That will be unstoppable.
The real question is, would he fit the system?
Well, the system would have to change. I mean,
the system would have to change some. Yes,
I think just the team would. I mean, we talked about this last show. I think it would just change the way they play. Almost have to. Again, you're going to pay that guy that kind of money. Travis Kelce, I would imagine at some point, and I think we're there. His target number has to start to decline a little bit in the regular season.
Yeah.
So, do you bring in a receiver that's going to command 12 to 15 targets a game when you've kind of now structured the offense to a point where you don't know where the ball's going? So again, it depends on how they want to play offense, really.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I feel like that he'll be a good fit. Him, Rashee Rice, they both young. He's 24. Rashee Rice, I think he's 23.
There's no question. There's no question about the player and what he brings. No question at all.
But again, will that cripple the team? If he wants that $30 million, that's going to cripple the team because you got Trace Smith.
Wait a second. Who is this?
Pamela Todd says,
Hense, you got spies out there, man. Who is this?
Hi, nephew. Hi, nephew.
Love it.
But listen, like family first, absolutely. But the thing is, right now, I would prefer Kyle Pitts over Justin Jefferson.
Why not? You know what?
You know why? Because we know the potential, but with under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, the sky's the limit.
I kind of agree with Ray because if you get Kyle Pitts, you got Rashee Rice, then that gives you. It's not going to break the team.
It's not.
You get Jefferson, he's going to
because he doesn't demand a lot of touches.
I'm saying like the money wise, you got.
Oh yeah.
You got Creed Humphrey, you got Trey Smith, you got Nick Bolton. Then you're gonna have McDuffie. You got Justin Reid gonna be coming a free agent. You got all these guys. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be all that money to tie to them. But again, everybody, Taylor Swift is raising a salary cap. If everybody's like to say, they said Taylor Swift is raising a salary cap. So
30 million.
Yeah, the more people watch the Chiefs and Taylor Swift.
Hey, did you guys see the homemade Pop-Tarts?
No, I didn't see that.
I didn't see him. Did you?
There was a picture. I should have sent it.
Hold on.
She makes homemade Pop-Tarts for the offensive line. Andy Reid was kind of pissed. He didn't get any.
No, I'm sure he'll get some.
The Taylor Swift edition.
But back on the
you can make Pop-Tarts in the oven, like homemade Poptarts.
Evidently, Taylor Swift can do anything, Coach.
Yeah,
she's amazing. She's amazing.
Now hold on now. Now we ain't gonna let that slip on this show. He said, do you make homemade Pop-Tarts in the oven? Now, don't they put them in a toaster? Or what you do?
No, I'm talking about from scratch. I'm talking about from scratch, though, Bo.
Yeah, I don't think she went to the Piggly Wiggly and just
shut up.
She made them. Come on now.
It is amazing. It is like everywhere online. It's hilarious. Love her. God love her, man. She's the best.
That's crazy.
She's the best. Come on.
Nah, but you know what? She's everything people thought she wasn't gonna be. She is very supportive and she loves Kelce and she loves the environment, the football environment. So
she's part of the Chiefs kingdom and she'll love Kyle Pitts
and
she'll love JJ.
She would fit into our show because she can drink, man. That girl, she puts them away.
But again, that would be an interest. That would be if Jefferson comes. That's gonna be.
It's game over.
It's game over.
I cannot wait. Just to listen to Jamar Chase. Just hear Jamar Chase one more time. Just bash the Chiefs, and they got one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL. It would piss off every AFC team.
Absolutely.
It will.
NFC teams like the Eagles.
The internet would break.
The Eagles, 49ers, the top teams in the NFC are going, what are you doing? You're just making
the NFC teams might be fired up because he's gone. Right.
Yeah.
And they saying the Vikings are saying that the Vikings GM said JJ is not available.
Yeah, that just means the price isn't right.
I mean, y'all remember you got to make him the Godfather offer there. You got to make him an offer they can't refuse.
He said the Godfather offer. Hey, y'all remember Randy Moss broke the bank? Remember Randy Moss went to New England? And we thought off the rip, okay, Super Bowl, they're winning multiple Super Bowls. Randy Moss.
They didn't lose the game that year.
Well, the
right.
thing is,
They was
but at the
phenomenal.
time he was coming from Oakland, and he was like I mean, he was in a funk, man. I mean, they got him for like a 3rd round pick or something. I don't think they paid him a lot of money.
No, he got NFL minimum plus.
So
is it like Cal Pitts? Is it like Cal Pitts over in Atlanta? Cal Pitts come over to Kansas City, have the same impact as Randy Moss.
Kyle hasn't quite had the success Randy had prior to that. It's really close though, Dre. It's really close. Okay. Yeah, Moss had like what 20 touchdowns as a rookie.
I guess it is 4 guys in the bar. Something that in the cup they can't hear.
You're right.
Speaking of the person, they said they stopped the Patriots. They destroyed their season. It was only one man that did that.
That's right.
And it was Spags. Now Spags is coming in. They said Spags is the defense that joined the elite company.
He's something else.
The elite. So now if you say Spags, you think Spags gonna if he had to choose, which one he's gonna choose? If the Chiefs giving him an option right now on the table, say, hey, we can either keep Jones or we can keep
Jones.
Steve.
Jones.
Which one you think Spags?
Jones, man.
When he talks about these guys, he was on. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was on Peter Schrager's podcast.
I saw that. It's great.
When he talks about most of these guys on this defense, his face just lights up. It's like a dad talking about his kids. So it would be very difficult for him to choose. L'Jarius is like. He is, I think, one of his favorite players ever. Mm-hmm. I think Chris Jones is one of his favorite players ever.
Nick Bolton certainly is.
Look what Lou said at the end. Ever. So that speaks volumes for Lou.
Trent is certainly on that path. So it would be very difficult. I think his head might explode if it was left to him. He would just say, that's above my pay grade. I'll coach whoever we got.
Right.
Yeah, most definitely. But remember, he has some great talent on that Giants defensive line, man.
Sure.
You had stars on that line, man. That was like crazy. It was Tuck, Osenhumen-Yor. We had Pierre Paul. You had Strahan. I'm like, wow. It's like, you see what Spags wants to do, and he's doing it with Kansas City right now. He's doing that same thing. He knows it starts with the defensive line. Spags' genius starts with the defensive line.
So they're gonna
has to dominate. The line has to dominate.
The way he deployed the back end, whether it's Merritt coaching him up, and with the way Spags uses those DBs, I think this group of DBs for both those guys, they're just like kids in a candy store figuring out how we're going to move these guys around, and you never know who's playing where. You got guys that can play the slot and play outside and play safety and can blitz. That's what makes this team so multiple, and they all tackle. I talked about it coming into the playoffs, how important it was. They don't allow a ton of yards after the catch, and that was so key all year. These guys, I still don't believe we understand how good this defense is, or this particular defense was. Hopefully they can continue it, but I think 10 years from now we're going to be talking about this defense like that was the best.
What's crazy though? Real quick. It starts again with the D line, because that game against Detroit, even though Chiefs came close, if Chris Jones plays that game probably not even close. Chris Jones showed his worth. Yeah, right. So Chris Jones came the next week and just dominated. It was Jacksonville. Am I correct?
Yep.
And he came in and showed it like. With no issue, went out there, took care of business, sit back and just sit back like now. Y'all see the value.
He won that game for him. He won that game for him. He clearly did.
90 degrees, humidity. I don't know how many plays he played, but that was ridiculous.
Easy.
He had 4 practices.
Now, this gonna speak of. I'm not saying Chris Jones is not a leader or anything like that. Now, this gonna speak of Chris Jones. Do you take less? For you can keep your defense together, and you bring in you let Sneed get his money, because this will be your 3rd time getting your contract. So will Chris Jones take less and say, hey, like Patrick Mahomes did, say, hey, I left money on the table, go get this guy, this guy.
I would say this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
I think he's going to take less. I don't think it's going to be the demand he had last year. I think the conversation that he and Brent Veach had after the Lions game, they probably pretty much discussed everything. And if Chris Jones is out there on the podium with the parade saying, I'm going to be here this year, next year, the year after, that tells me that there's a 3-year deal somewhere that's been discussed, and Jones is pretty confident that they're going to close the sale and get this thing done. And for me personally, I think you make a great point, Hense. This is his time to get somebody else paid. He's made a lot of money. He's going to be a Hall of Fame. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He understands now, I think, what he missed in week 1. I think he understands what his role is, and they have some rotational guys if they can keep him, that he doesn't have to play every snap. And he took a lot of off plays in the postseason, and when they needed him big time in the Super Bowl, he made 2 of the biggest plays of the game. So
kind of got that Strahan, and kind of the
he does. He reminds me a lot of Michael Strahan. Absolutely.
Quite simply, he's the closer on defense.
There you go, Lou. Yeah, he's the closer. He's the closer.
Now who is his agents again, Nick?
They are the infamous Katz brothers. You're going to show that picture,
Now,
aren't you?
Chris Jones, if Chris Jones don't get the Cash brothers, he also can go get who? Dave Purdy.
Mr. Dave Purdy. All right, we're going to talk about our next sponsor, Mr. Dave Purdy with Supreme. Dave is your mortgage specialist. He is my mortgage specialist. He has walked me through so many different scenarios in regards to getting a loan for my family and the house that we put a contract under and hope to close here shortly. But there's a lot of things that were going on. I'm self-employed, so whether you're 1099 or W-2, there are mortgage solutions out there. There are programs available in every state in which offer loans. You just have to find someone who's going to sit through that process, and Dave Purdy is that man. Give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. Again, 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is
Purdy
good. Love it.
Now, go back on Chris Jones, man. Like if he does that and say, hey, my defense, I'm the captain of the defense. This is my side of the ball. I'm Patrick Mahomes on this side of the ball. And L'Jarius Sneed is my Travis Kelce. I'm gonna make sure my brother eat. I'm gonna leave enough money on the table for both of them. I'm not saying Chris Jones don't have to do that. I'm just saying, like, if I'm Jones, I'm like, look, L'Jarius Sneed, because you're gonna have to run into the Bengals. They got dual threats.
We'll see.
What I mean? Then you got to run into, maybe T. Higgins probably don't play that well. Maybe he said, y'all franchise tag me. I'm not going to hurt myself on a franchise tag. You never know. But again, you're going to have to run into some teams. These teams are going to bring, and these receivers that's coming out the draft, it's legitimate. A lot of them are number ones on anybody's team.
Right.
So why not just keep both of them? You know what I mean? Then you lock down everybody.
And I think that's the goal. I mean, sure, they want to do that.
They want to keep them, right? I get it. They want to, but real quick, Bo, we should just say it real quick. Now, without Chris Jones, the Chiefs does not beat the Bengals. Without Chris Jones against Baltimore, he doesn't get immediate pressure. Without Chris Jones, they don't really beat the 49ers without Chris Jones. That's the importance of that defense line. That's the importance of what Chris Jones brings to the table. That's why I say that Chris Jones is very important. He's more important than Sneed is, because with that pressure right there, it opens up like heaven for that secondary because they can eat now. So again, it's like, should he get more money? I wouldn't blame him if he want more money, and I wouldn't blame him if he want to take a pay cut.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'll go to the baseball guys. Nick, what WAR? Wins above replacement.
Right.
I think the difference between Sneed and who they replace him with is it's a smaller gap than it would be who they replace Chris Jones with.
Yeah.
And then the other part of leaving some on the table, and it's a lot easier to do when the difference is between 500 million and 450 million, and you take a little less versus Chris Jones, who might be like a 3-year deal, like 85 or 90 million or whatever it works out to be.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying, Todd. I'm sure, he might be thinking that, but it's not going to be a big enough difference that it's going to make a huge difference in Sneed's contract.
It's the symbolization of the fact that he's taking less if he chooses to do that, so other guys can get paid, because $5 million makes a difference in having to pay that money out to somebody else. They don't have to commit. So to me, it's going to be something like this is my guess, not based on any facts, a 3-year, $90 million, $25 million for this year and next year, and in a big fat contract in year 3, and probably he's going to play in year 3. And the other thing that you guys have to remember, from what I've been hearing about the salary cap, you're looking at a similar increase every year. So the NFL is making so much money right now, and the way the collective bargaining agreement is going, and now that all this gambling stuff is going on and the revenue they're getting from that, you're looking at probably a $20 million uptick in salary cap every year. And so if that trend continues, then the Chiefs can pretty much do whatever they want. So can a whole bunch of other NFL teams. You got to hit the right guys. You got to get some, you got to draft well, because you need young pay. You got to get guys who are in their prime or just on the end of their prime to come in and take cap-friendly deals and team-friendly deals. And again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you come to Kansas City. Every single year that Patrick Mahomes is under center, you got a 50-50 chance. You cannot say that about any other team in the NFL, but the Chiefs haven't capitalized on that. They haven't had a lot of those guys. They've used the Chiefs to get better deals in other places. And so this offseason, I think, is going to be really, really interesting. I mean, Veach talked about it again today. It's the three-peat. That's the goal. Patrick's been talking about it since the podium. And again, that's the modus of operations right now for the Kansas City Chiefs, to three-peat. So it's going to be interesting to see with some of these talented guys. You're going to see a lot of guys released in the next 2 weeks before free agency. Like Janu Smith, who was cut today by the Falcons. He's a guy that, probably is going to reach out to the Chiefs, because the Chiefs need that third tight end. They still need to find a second tight end, but, they might need another tight end if they don't get a Kyle Pitts, if they don't get Bowers.
Noah Gray.
Okay, fine. But still,
Noah Gray, huh?
They're going to carry four tight ends. They're going to carry 4 tight ends.
I agree.
So he would be he had career high in yards and receptions last year.
Yeah.
So I think he's a good fit for Kansas City. But nonetheless, these guys have gotta want to come here, and we haven't really seen a lot of that. I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling took less money from the Chiefs instead of going back to the Packers. And that was largely in part because Patrick Mahomes said, "Hey, we need you here." And clearly in the last 2 playoffs, he's been a huge difference maker. So it worked out. But you need a guy you need a Jefferson type. You need a name player. You need somebody. DeAndre Hopkins. I've made all my money. DeAndre Hopkins. I made all my money. I want to win a Super Bowl. How bad do you want to win a Super Bowl? We'll come to the Chiefs on a $10-12 million year with, $6 to $8 million in incentives, and go win a ring.
Yeah, but again, we want all these guys. We want these guys to come over who get cut, all that. But the question is, it's the combine week, so you have your Isaiah Pacheco, you have your Rashee Rice, and you have your golden gem of all gems. You pull back the dirt. They said, "Hey, we want to pull back the covers on the dirt, and we're going to see if this is a diamond on there." And they found out it was a diamond. When a lot of people said Patrick Mahomes wasn't a diamond in the draft. Now, who's next? Who's going to be that next wide receiver, next hidden gem?
Nobody knows, man.
Like Isaiah Pacheco, Patrick Mahomes. Who is going to be that next hidden gem that's going to fall to the Chiefs when the Chiefs are picking last in every round, or moving up if they jump to move up, and the Chiefs, everybody that's not got the eyes like Superman, the Superman GM Brent Veach, to go find this talented, and also for their talent. Also, I got to give a shout out to the scouts on the Kansas City Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Trent McDuffie, all these guys, Brandon Cook. Joshua Williams, it's late coming on. You know what I mean? Wharton, Mike Dana, Connor, all these guys. There are a lot of people that really probably was passed by because a lot of people said a lot of bad things about Patrick Mahomes. They said he didn't have footwork. He wasn't worthy to be number one.
I think it was the mechanics and the footwork, definitely. Mechanics and the footwork.
Now it was terrible. Now they got eat on dirt and worms, what they've been saying. But now, who's gonna be that next person, Lou?
But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Real quick, let me piggyback off this real quick. If you look at Caleb Williams, right?
Go ahead, Lou.
Caleb Williams, right? real quick, I don't want to lose it real quick. Yeah. So listen though, because Caleb Williams is the same. It's similar to Patrick Mahomes, right? So the thing is, do you take a Caleb Williams? Like, do you take a Caleb Williams though? Like, because a lot of people they so high on Caleb Williams, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is this: a lot of people say Caleb Williams is a better version of Patrick Mahomes, in like this year. He's a better version of a Patrick Mahomes.
College to college career, yes, he's a better quarterback.
College to career,
no question.
The far as him unorthodox throwing the ball, making plays, using his legs, you can see the similarities, right? Here's the thing with me is this, with these type of players, right? Now the NFL got a bunch of dynamic players that's almost as similar now. So the thing is like this, like I was telling Bo, he may look good in college, but he might not be looking good in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this with me, like looking at Patrick Mahomes, and they like everybody love Patrick Mahomes because of his IQ. It was the IQ for everybody from Cliff Kingsbury, from Sean Payton. They love his IQ. That's why he was so high. A lot of people don't understand. Like Patrick Mahomes is very intelligent. The thing is, to me, that's what won them over.
Cliff Kingsbury's the quarterback god.
I mean, no, he let the guy be himself.
Is he a younger
Andy Reid?
Is he a younger Andy Reid? Who knows? I don't know. I can go there yet, but
But big difference. The air raid guys are just cut from a completely different cloth, right? I mean, they really are.
They are.
So
answer the question, Lou, before you was.
One guy that I'm looking at, it might be like a middle round guy, is a wide receiver from Central Florida, Javon Baker. He was a transfer from Alabama. And he's had a pretty good offseason. He played well at UCF under Gus Malzahn and that offense. So, and typically over the years, UCF has kind of sprinkled in some good receivers, right? Every few years. So that might be a guy that isn't like one of those top tier or even the second tier of receivers, right? Again, I keep saying his name, but I really like Roman Wilson from Michigan.
Yeah, I do too.
The numbers aren't really there because of the lack of opportunity, and they really didn't throw the ball that much. But I think you'll see in the combine the way he runs, in the drills. And again, that's not going to get you drafted, but that'll certainly, wake some scouts up, maybe go back and grind some tape, look at the Senior Bowl again, because he just had an amazing week. So, and there's always diamonds in the rough. Every round, there's going to be diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, outside of the first round,
you may not see a running back, and I'll go over a few more of these guys on Friday. But you may not see a running back picked in the first 2 rounds.
Nope, sure won't.
I mean, think of that for a second. You had 2 guys go in the first round last year. They were special, Bijan and Jameer. I mean, those guys just, they jumped off the page. Maybe it was higher than most teams expected, but okay. But they both played really well, given their limited opportunities. Yeah. But, so there's always going to be guys. And at some point, I'll start looking at defensive players. I don't know when.
Good point.
I mean, yeah, the kid from UCF, didn't he make that 4th and 27 or 4th and 28 catch? I want to say it was against Kansas State, maybe.
That's your conference, Nick. Yeah, he's a big. They're Big 12 now, right?
Yeah, they're in Big 12. Yeah, I think he's the guy that made that 4th and whatever 25, 28 yard catch. I can't remember who it was against, but listen, this wide receiver class is loaded. It's one of the best wide receiver class. You're talking 4 rounds deep at a minimum. with guys who can come in and play. And we've seen, a lot of guys drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round who have had great NFL careers. And now it's, that's just a one of a
Nuka.
Everybody made a mistake on that kid multiple times over and over and over again. And, this is why it's so intriguing what, Brent Veach is going to have to do and what Andy Reid's going to have to do. And, how big are the cojones, man? What are they going to swing at and see if they can land, one of the best free agents? I'm in love with Michael Pittman Jr. I think, there's been no talk about what the Colts are going to do. That's been pretty hush-hush. But this week, you're going to find out a lot because this is when I mentioned on Monday, Veach is going to talk to all the agents and for free agents and guys who are currently represented some of their players, and they're going to have to hammer these things out. But there's no question they're upgrading the wide receiver position, and they're probably going to add a running back in free agency too to kind of solidify that offense. And then, sign your defensive guys. I mean, for me, if they can somehow get Jones done, let's just assume that's a done deal. They can get Sneed done. Willie Gay's probably not going to have the market that people thought. You bring him back and you bring Drew Tranquil back. You bring those 4 guys back on defense and you add a wide receiver and a running back and you solve the left tackle problem. If they could do those things, they could trade the mortgage of draft picks to move up to get John Alt.
Joe, Alt's a different beast, man. That guy's a beast.
They could go all in. They could go all in.
He's another legacy, right?
Yeah,
I love Alt. I love Alt.
I love his dad.
Some breadcrumbs dropped today by Tampa Bay. They cut Shaq Barrett, so they are like cleaning up some salary cap space. So is that something obviously they want to keep Mike Evans there, retire a buck. Does he want to stay there? Are they going to, is he going to take a hometown deal to stay on the same team?
That's the word, Lou. I think Mike Evans does want to stay there. That's what I'm hearing. Mike Evans does want to stay there.
We'll see.
Amber alert.
Yes, he
Amber alert.
White.
What's that?
2007 GMC Yacht Texas license plate.
UConn Texas license SWV.
Oh, I didn't get that on my phone.
So if you see that car, please turn it in.
If you see a funky white car driving in this unparticular weather, y'all make a phone call to Fox 4 News or Chiefs Blitz or 4 Guys at the Bar, and we will gladly inform your local authorities.
There you go. There you go. We'll do it.
Well, we pray everybody.
PSA.
Yeah.
It was good.
PSA.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But again, who is your Nick said Lou said he's gonna save his for the next show. Lou said he's gonna save his for Friday.
Well, Javon Baker's one.
He's one of your hidden gems.
Yeah, I don't know how hidden he is, but he won't. I don't think he'll go in the first 2 rounds.
So they say Gay is gone. Gotta get Tranquil back. Absolutely, Tranquil is a no-brainer.
Okay, so what everybody saying in the chat, Dre?
Well, when I was just in the chats, Mr. Bowtie. So, your auntie says this it is cold outside. So stay in. Right? So St. Clair says Derek. Well, I guess he must spelled it wrong. He said Derrick Henry. He preferred the Chiefs get Derrick Henry, and I'm with that. Nice. But he's going to Baltimore, I believe. Let's see here. Kareem says I'm predicting we trade back, draft Darius Robinson, then trade up in this. I so apologize, Bowtie. I'm predicting we trade back, draft Darius Robinson, then trade up in the second draft, draft Worthy and Leggett or Curley.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the update on?
I can answer that for Ken. For Charles Domenihue, despite the fact that he's really clamoring for a new contract when he's injured, the surgery went very well. The tear was not as severe as they originally had thought. So there's a chance that he might be ready for the start of the regular season, but I'm thinking probably first week of October to be safe. And in regards to Cook, he had his surgery in January. Everything went well. He's expected to be probably going to be training camp area where he'll be back out there. They're going to be very cautious with him because they need him along with Reid, because I'm not sure they're going to bring Edwards back, and they need their starter back. So I think they'll take their time. But for the kind of, if anybody saw the gruesome injury of his foot completely twisted, and the only thing that saved him is he had surgery on that foot, so he had pins in there already. So that really saved him from having a much more severe injury. You know, he's lucky, but both should be back at some point next year. I think Cook will be ahead of Omenihu, but Omenihu's a workout warrior. He's highly motivated to get a contract. You know, he was on NFL Network, talking about, he thinks he deserves an extension. I think the Chiefs would be happy to give him one. And he had a lot of sacks this year, and he played really well in the limited time that he had. He was a beast.
Yes,
and that's a guy that you absolutely have to have opposite of Karlaftis with Chris Jones. If they can get a steady nose tackle, that really helps this football team a lot. So I know, Godspeed to both of them. Hopefully they get healthy, but Omenihu, I think, just needs to kind of chill a little bit and just let it play out, see how his rehab goes, have his agent talk to him and say, hey, we'd like to extend, and see what they ultimately decide to do.
So being injured in your first year with the team, I mean, it'd be awfully difficult. Now, he did have a good year, 7 sacks.
He only got a 2-year deal,
in 11 games. Yeah. So, it's hard to, negotiate from that point. But, it can be done. I think the good thing here is, we talk about this grand need that they have at wide receiver, and it is a need, and they'll probably address it in free agency and the draft, but they are dealing from a position of strength. There aren't a lot of holes on the team, right? No. So they can really look to kind of not manipulate the draft, but if there's, again, a ton of guys, if there's 5 or 6 guys that are sitting there when they're up to pick and they have the opportunity to trade back, it's a great opportunity, especially if you can get, parlay it into 2 second-round picks, and, you build up some depth, but a ton of wide receivers available. So I think, a young one for sure, maybe 2. And it also depends on how free agency plays out. Right?
Hey, real quick, Nick. Sorry about that, real quick. So Omenihu came on the show with demanding he wants an extension. How did he say it? Was he saying hey, I put in some good work, I want my extension, or he was hopefully?
No, he was saying that he led the, he's looking for a new deal. He thinks because of the amount of sacks that he did in the games that he played, his performance in the postseason, both of all career highs for him. And he obviously fits what Spags is trying to do. He did a lot of great things. He chased down a lot of quarterbacks. They didn't necessarily sack. They created opportunities for errant throws and turnovers. And what you like about him is
Stanley Henny won the Charger games.
Yeah, he's a good person. He is a guy that
share my stuff on his stories. I love him.
Yeah, he's the kind of player you want in your locker room, and he's very driven. He was one of the few guys, before they started the playoffs, against the Dolphins, and this is why I came to Kansas City to win a Super Bowl. It wasn't about winning a playoff game. It was about winning a Super Bowl, and he got his ring. He contributed to the success of the team. And I think if his agents just kind of throttle him back a little bit and just go through rehab, get out there, I think the Chiefs would be happy to extend him. He only signed a 2-year, I think, $18 million deal. So there's even a benefit to restructure his contract. So get healthy, man. We need you. We love you. We appreciate your tweets. We appreciate your passion. But let's get healthy first, and I think Brent Veach will take care of him. I
don't think he's a guy that's going to hold out because they're not giving him a new deal. I don't think it's
he's injured, so there's not a whole lot he can do.
So, but I like him as a player. I liked him in Houston, liked him in San Francisco, and certainly liked him this year with the Chiefs. So
great fit.
Yeah, I don't think they're they're rushing to give him more money, but I think he will have earned it.
Yes.
Do you keep him? Do we keep him on the
Yes,
he's
absolutely.
He's our Jason Pierre-Paul.
Well,
That's
there's
even
no reason.
if he comes in November 1st.
You mean like cut him?
No.
I'm just saying,
he's under contract.
Okay, let me
They
ask you this real quick.
They have to injury settle him.
Hypothetical, Gay or Minihue, which one do we keep? I'm just saying, like, if it's between those two, Gay or Minihue,
it's apples and oranges. Willie's a free agent.
He's a chaser. He's a chaser, but he's not what a Minihue brings to the table. He brings instant pressure.
One plays linebacker and one plays defensive.
One chase chickens and one chases buffaloes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
one's a free agent, one's under contract.
I love them both, man. If I can bring Nick back, I'll do it in a heartbeat. But looking at it now, he probably will come back. You never know. You never know. He probably go out there, see what's on the market, and probably return and say, "Hey,
right, true."
Yeah, Menahue's $10.9 million cap hit this year, so I could see them. I could see them extending him out a couple of years to cut that number down. He's one of the higher paid guys on the roster right now, so that's his cap hit.
He's
phenomenal. I think you keep a guy like that. He's a winner.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, speaking of that, it's one guy that I watched, growing up. Also, also watching Nick, and it's Peter Key, his retirement. What you got to say about him, Nick? What you got to say?
Well, I've known Peter a long time. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're friends, but he'd always come to when I was out there covering for War Paint Illustrated. He came to River Falls every year, and we always sat down and we just talked football. He let me interview him several times, and he was just the most gracious guy. And I think for me, it was, hey, send me a subscription to your magazine, because he thought what we did was pretty cool. And we sat in the cantina at times and we just talked football. We talked life. We just had a good time. He and John Clayton, to me, were the two most down to earth. What you see is who they are kind of reporters. They didn't have an agenda. He never thought he was too big. He always understood his roots. And if you've seen the video that he's got out where he writes that letter to his dad, it's kind of gut-wrenching and beautiful and very sentimental. And, the fact that Peter and Andy are close, I think Andy talked about that today on Mike Florio's show, that, during the Super Bowl, he knew he was retiring. And he got him within a couple of feet of the huddle of one of the practices so he could hear everything that goes on. It's kind of his gift, and they don't allow reporters on the field. So Andy kind of stretched the rules a little bit. But, Peter has done an incredible job for 30 plus years. His Monday morning column is the best. Nobody does it better than him. We're going to miss him greatly. And for all of us who knew him a little bit, and for everybody who's read his columns and his articles and watched his video and his podcast, creme de la creme, top of the field. Man has worked for so many different places, including Sports Illustrated back in its glory days. And for him to bow out now, I guess he's going to get to watch the Super Bowl in his TV in his living room, which he hasn't done for 36 years. So props to him. We're going to miss him.
Right. Definitely.
Lou, I'm just playing. Lou said, "Don't go to me because you think I'm."
It must read. I mean, back. I guess prior to the internet exploding, I mean, that was like must read was sports.
That's who you read.
His Sports Illustrated column. Even the Monday morning quarterback for years, and then Football Morning in America. Every Monday, and it was like it would post at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Monday morning, where he was like after all the games and he's calling players and getting their feedback, and it was just very genuine, and everything that people are saying is pretty similar. Gracious, would go out of his way to help any young reporters, answering questions, giving advice. Just a really, really good guy, I guess. I mean, I've never met him, but watching him with Florio on the whatever it's called, Pro Football Talk Live or whatever their show is. I mean, that's always entertaining. His meetings with Coach Reid, the one this year after the Super Bowl, that interview that he did one-on-one,
it was awesome.
You just don't see that kind of stuff. And there aren't many people out there that can get that kind of access. And I think Florio was saying it to him, was saying that it's like there's no next man up. There's nobody that's ready to take over Peter's spot. But I think there's another Peter, and I think Schrager's probably the one that's the closest, because now he has a lot of relationships with the younger coaches, and it seems like he's tight with a lot of them, including Hense's guy Cliff Kingsbury. but you saw, I mean, the first night of the combine, he flew there on Monday just so he could have dinner with Spags and Andy Reid. And he joins Instagram. His first post is them at the dinner table, right? So maybe that's a guy that could take over, but in terms of Peter King, must read back in the day and still now. So we'll see. I'm sure he'll do something at some point.
He'll be around. I don't think he's going to completely retire, but he may do a little TV work, and who knows? He may get bored in retirement. I got bored in retirement and writing, and I came back. So not that I have Peter King's status by any stretch.
Now you get to hang out with us, Nick.
Yeah, I get to hang out with you guys, which has been a blessing. Man, absolute blessing.
But looking at it, me watching Peter King, man, also seeing the funny moments where Josh Allen forgot to shake his hand and Patrick Mahomes went to go shake his hand in the interview afterwards. And so it was amazing seeing stuff like that. A lot of people respect them, and growing up watching them and watching Nick and all these guys. It's just a blessing that seeing that I got to meet him one time when I seen him at Radio Row last year, not the year before last year, wherever the Chiefs won in Phoenix that year. So
it's been so many, you forget.
He said been so many.
Yeah. Hey, wait a second. Hold on. Back up a little bit. Just back up. Back up. Are you wearing a bow tie? You got to show it off. Come on, man.
Oh man, I said I got to back up on, man. I got nothing but a gray shirt and a hoodie, man.
Oh yeah, I was coming for the sporty.
4 guys at night, and he is. Look at that fit.
Remember, it's called bow. Listen, it's called bow tie sports.
Yes.
So I was
show it off.
Yeah, I was sitting here editing it, so I never got to get out my clothes. So I went right into the show, and it got real busy. So here he is. Okay, thank you, Luke, for noticing.
You don't need to apologize. I think you should wear it every time.
Yeah, you gotta represent the brand, my sir. The bow tie, man. Come on, man. Like Luke say, come on, man.
Wear the bow tie. It's amazing to see about Peter King, and I wish him the best.
Yeah. Job well done.
Job well done. Now
to have that passion for 40 years to do that.
Here's the one that was with Madden, right? If I'm not mistaken, was he the one that was commentating with John Madden, or this?
No, he was the first person that John Madden led on his bus as a reporter, and he spent like I don't know if it was a full week or 2 weeks on the road with him in the bus, because then everybody knew John Madden wouldn't fly because he had a panic attack when he was the head coach of the Raiders, and he never flew again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never. And so he had the magic bus, and Peter King. Look it up online and read. It's worth it. It's one of the best articles that you're ever going to read, and it's pretty detailed. It's pretty awesome.
I'm gonna check it out.
And speaking of that, man. Speaking of Madden, one person I'm gonna miss this draft season coming up is John Gruden, quarterback. Man, I used to love watching that. I used to love watching him break down the film with the quarterbacks, and
he's so animated. He's so animated with the hands, and
that's where actually drew me into actually watching the draft. Was John Gruden? Watching him do what he do with the quarterbacks and the players and breaking it down. I was like, man, I wish they could. I know they got somebody else to trying to do it, but it was nothing like John Gruden watching that. That made me think about that when we were talking about Peter King. So I had to get
right. Yeah.
So with that said, let's get into our sponsors, Eric Haynes.
All right, let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes. With the Eric Haynes Group, he is your personal real estate advisor. give Eric a call at 816-729-3785. He will walk you through the entire process from finding a house to delivering your keys at closing. You need someone you can trust. You need somebody who understands all of the fine print in real estate contracts, and there is a lot of fine print in the real estate contracts. He will work with the opposing agent to make sure that everything that you want happens, and he delivers. He's delivering for me and my wife, Emily, and we really appreciate his efforts. So give Eric a call at 816-729-375 or email him at esellskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who.
And he is a proud sponsor. Another proud sponsor is Mr. Dave Purdy. Dave is he's the guy that you go to when you need a loan. He understands numbers. He understands loans. He understands the process of getting a loan. He understands all the ins and outs of all the different mortgage options available to you. He is a good man, and he has worked with me very patiently to find us the right loan so we can get our house. Give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. Again, 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is pretty good.
Now,
And you guys are pretty good too.
Now we go ahead and get
Most definitely.
Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate it.
Yep, all good. So we'll be
Wait,
back
Bo,
on
what
Friday.
you about to say, Bo? You about to say
You gonna
something,
say
man?
something?
Oh,
I just wait to get the shout outs on that, they like.
Oh yeah, let's do the shout outs before.
oh
before I
yeah,
sign
my
us
bad,
off.
man. Hey, man, listen, man. Kareem is a big part of the show, gentlemen. Big part of the show. He probably a hidden fifth member. He's the unsung hero on the show. At the right, Lou. That show
Self-proclaimed fifth
unsung.
man.
Absolutely. Shout out to John, Chiefs at 15. The auntie of the show. The auntie of the show.
Yeah,
Miss
that was a nice
Todd,
surprise.
Come on,
Absolutely.
yeah.
St. Clair. Let's see who else we got here, guys. John, what up, John? Ken. I said St. Clair, Ken, John. All right. But shout out, guys, and keep it coming and express the love from the show, guys. The more people you share the show with, the more opportunity we can come and entertain y'all.
That's right. Check us out at chiefsplits.com for all your news. We'll go updating columns every single day. Breaking news we'll have, of course, the podcast at Chiefs Splits. Please subscribe. We enjoy doing this show for you, and we have a blast doing it. And hey, there's some people out there who are critical. There's some people out there who have really high opinions of themselves. We're just four guys in a bar, as you would be with three of your best friends, talking Chiefs, talking football, and we'll get into some other Kansas City area sports as well, just to kind of, break things up in the off season. But, we're just four dudes. We have a blast. We hope you guys love the show. Again, check us out at chiefsplits.com and check us out on our Facebook at Chiefs Blitz, Twitter at Chiefs Blitz, and of course, our YouTube channel at Chiefs Blitz. Guys, I bid you adieu. We're going to be in Kansas City tomorrow with the announcement of the new stadium or facilities or whatever they're going to do. We'll be back on Friday. We'll break down a little bit more of some of the players at the combine, maybe peek ahead a little bit into some of the gem free agent options that might be available for Kansas City. We will be your number one source in the offseason. Nobody's going to deliver more good stuff than us. So please stay tuned, and we appreciate y'all.
Good night, guys. We out of here. All right.
Night.